welcome. This is first. I apologize that we're starting a little late. It's great to see so many people here. This is a very exciting group that we have. There are two teams in our 2014 division, both of which are very talented. The player who ends up going on and moving on to the next level, extremely hard to tell in this group, because both teams have some guys that are really talented, whose roles might be different. They're on one team rather than the other. But a couple things I want to talk about. First of all, the partnership, which is number one up here, very exciting. Jason Sakani, who runs TPC, who's been there for about 10 years, is literally across the street and a couple doors down. And they are probably top in their field in terms of strength and conditioning and development and training. And Headfirst Baseball, which has teams, we have a team later today for, it's the farm division that we have with 7- and 8-year-olds on through guys through their 4th year of college. So we're the most expansive travel team. We hope that we are the best in exposure, development, and also the most expensive travel program. Well, we are creating a partnership with TPC, and both companies are going to shut down our operations in our current facilities and move into what's formerly Bounce View, which is across the street, equidistant from TPC and the Headfirst facility. So it's a 10,000 square foot facility. Walls are coming down. It's crazy. There's going to be nothing like it. The combination of all of this under one roof will be second to none, especially with the organizations that already exist, which is basically like combining Boardwalk and Park Place to create the ultimate monopoly. And what's going to happen is all that under one roof, we bring arguably 300 to 500 people through the door in a calendar year, and Jason and TPC's programs bring around the same. The odds of us having people going training with Jason are extremely high, especially since we're going to be encouraging it and create functions and processes where it's encouraged financially, where there are deals for people to do both. Similarly, Jason believes in the concepts that we have in travel baseball, and the belief in one another is why we're partnering, and the amount of people that are going to be encouraged to come into our program is obviously also going to be expansive to where the growth is going to be going on both sides. It should be very exciting for you guys, because you want to be in an environment where there's talented baseball players with very good baseball people around on the training, development, and exposure side, and what you're going to have is an absolute second to none. With respect to recruiting, and I can use my laser, sometimes it's not working right now. With recruiting, you guys, recruiting is getting younger and younger. It's prime time for you guys. You don't take a day off. You just don't. If you want it, now's the time. The sophomore group, the talk's a little different. For you guys, in a year from now, which is our next Berkovich group, they're going to come in, and a lot of people are panicked right now because it's not working out exactly the way that they want, and basically they're not committed yet. In reality, most of the recruiting, and we tell the Berkovich group, happens in your senior spring. So there's no reason for them to be panicked, other than they know some other people who are already committed. For you guys, now's the time. Now's the time, because your goal is probably to be an early commit. If that's the case, you need to be compelling. You need to be extremely compelling to make that happen. The truth is, why does one not become an early commit? They're not good enough. They're not compelling enough. It's easy. They have to put in the work, or they're just not gifted to be this tall or this strong, or hit the ball that far, or throw it that hard. And that's fine. They're going to be a late bloomer. Doesn't mean they're not going to be in the Hall of Fame in the major leagues. It just means that somebody else grew faster, or somebody else ended up throwing harder earlier, something like that. And the college said, okay, we'll take you because you profile better at this time than this player over here. Not a really big deal, because most of the recruiting happens late. Some people hear about the early recruiting, and for some people it's their goal. Now, when I talk to people about recruiting, and I ask what their goals are, for example, somebody throw out some schools you want to go to. Raise your hand, and I'll point to you, or I'll point to you. You.
Cal Poly.
Cal Poly. You.
Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara. You. USD, or UCSD, or San Diego State, or any of them. You. Cal Berkeley. All right. So in general, people throw out Division I schools, usually that are extremely talented, and usually that are numerically unrealistic, because there's only X amount of spots. And the truth is, the people in the Headfirst organization take one of those spots, or maybe two at a particular school. But if we have a lot of people in our junior group, all of which want to go probably to the same school, numerically it wouldn't even happen even within this room. So here's and as we go over time, people want to go to UCLA, Arizona State, Florida State, Miami, Stanford, and Berkeley, but they don't profile there. It's like saying, I want to graduate from high school, and the job I get out of high school, probably just earn like $1 million a year. I'll just start off at $1 million, and then go from there and see what happens. It's not realistic. It's not realistic. You say, I can end up there, and hopefully I do. Hopefully I'm extremely marketable and talented in something. But the truth is, I'm probably not going to, my goal, that could be a goal I have, to make $1 million out of high school. But the reality is probably I'm going to start somewhere down here and work my way up. The same is true with school. My son Jackson is 2 later this week. He's hitting lefty, for sure. I think he's throwing lefty. It's a little early to tell. Hopefully he likes baseball. Hopefully he's good enough, like you guys, to play at this level. And hopefully he wants to play in college. With Jackson, and it relates to you guys too, the first question, I've done this for a while now, the first question for Jackson is going to be, what junior college are you going to go to? What 2-year? What junior college are you going to go to? Because statistically, most high school players are going to pursue their baseball career at a JC. So the first most relevant question is, which JC? So it makes sense that you do some research and figure that out. Now for us, Chabot College, we use Chabot's home field. We're close with Steve Friend and their coaching staff. We think it's a dynamite place to be. It's not for everybody, but we have a very close relationship with Chabot College, obviously, and other JCs, specifically Chabot. And the next question would be, which NAIA, D3 or D2? Cal State East Bay, for example, is coached by Coach Ralston and Coach Norfolk's there. They have a great staff, Darren Lewis. Great D2. We have great connections with them as well as others. But we promote a Division II level for guys who may profile and maybe have a great experience there. The next question is which D1? Probably it's which low-level D1 and mid-range D1. And then if you're a high-end D1, you don't even have to ask the question because they've already contacted you and probably offered you high to get you off the chart from other schools. If that isn't happening, then you probably don't profile. Not necessarily, it means you don't profile right now at this time. It means you're not 90 to 92 with a hammer and 6'4", with a high GPA depending on the school. So there's nothing wrong with that, but just to inform you of how this works with recruiting, people usually look at the end result and want to go and be the millionaire right away. But in reality, probably statistically the way it works is you don't start there, you work your way to get there. So for you guys, the point is just not to discourage you from those dream schools, but understand the math of it and cross your T's and dot your I's all the way up. Starting with which JC, which D2, D3, NAIA, low-level D1, higher-level D1, and the same thing, you do that the same way academically, depending on where you profile academically. So, websites. In the past, and I want to tell you a little bit about the growth and what we're doing here. We had headfirstacademy.com, then we created the Showdown, which is the League All-Star game. So we had allstarshowdown.com. The Showdown is actually going to evolve this year into a battle over the hill. Who's better, 510 or 925? Who says 510? 3 of you. One parent and one player. And a lot of you guys are in the 510. That's not encouraging. Who says 925?
925, baby.
There's only one way to settle it. Have a series. The top 510s against the top 925s in a series specific to grade levels. Now 650 says, oh, wait a minute, we're better than both of you. Okay, come prove it. Then we get 650 and the 408 and the 405, and then we have an event. And so this is that's where the Showdown is going to evolve and go into. The point I throw out there is to tell you that we try to be creative and cutting edge. The idea of all that is what? Putting you in front of recruiters. Putting you in front of recruiters. So what we can do is develop you through our program and then put you in the right place at the right time, on the right team, looking the right way, acting the right way, and all the rest, to encourage your odds of enjoying baseball, getting better, and then ultimately playing beyond high school. And we take it real serious, and we try to spend a lot of time trying to figure out the math of it. So in addition, so right now there's Headfirst Academy, allstarshowdown.net, which are going to exist. The next one, which is up now, is berkovichfoundation.com. Then there's TriValleyGamers.com, which is going to relate to you guys. And then there's also one that's going to be called The Farm. And so our Headfirst is now going to be the farm leads up to high school. Our high school division is called Gamers. And then the Berkovich division is for post-high school. So right now, so in general, there's going to be 2 fall teams for Berkovich. The Berkovich fall team and the Berkovich fall scout team that evolved into 2 Berkovich teams. This summer, there's the Berkovich County Mac team and the Berkovich Bull Scouting team. And then there's 2 collegiate teams. One's more for JC year 1 and 2 types, and the other one's for years 1 through 4, which is an older team. All of them are in collegiate leagues. And the evolution of what we're doing, it keeps growing and growing. Not by just being lucky, by hard work and by research. And I want to share some of that with you guys today. The system that we have, and this system news, you guys are aware of the MLK event that we had in January. We do another showcase that we just did in September. There's the showdown where you're in front of people, or there's a classic. All these different events are attempts to get you in front of people, to develop and put you at the right place at the right time. At the end of the day, as players, we say, man, I had every opportunity. And I'm grateful. I didn't know then, but I am so grateful to my parents for choosing right and guiding me, putting me in the right place at the right time. And at the end of the day, it just didn't work out. I got to double A. I was a professional baseball player, but I didn't have the talent to hit the big leagues. But I maximized everything I could do. Or that might just mean playing varsity baseball for somebody. Or it might mean playing at a JC for 1 year, getting some reps, and just really not making the cut, and it didn't work out. You just go otherwise. The point is that you're given opportunities that other people don't have. The point for us is, at the end of the day, we say, we did our job well. And we tried to develop them, poured what we had into them, and poured what we had into the system. We're very creative, innovative, took risks on behalf of our players, and it worked out really well for some and not so well for others. But we can say we gave it an honest shot, a really good shot. A new concept for Reno, and there's a bunch of information in the back. And this new concept, it originated. I'm a PE teacher in high school. I was with another PE teacher. We're talking about Reno and just in general about gambling and having fun and hanging out in Reno and stuff. And we started talking about the Reno Aces home stadium, which has, who's been to the Reno Aces stadium? They've been inside there. They played there. Right. Me either. And it's not old enough for me to have played there, but a player who's a friend of mine, played Berkovich with me, ended up playing in the major leagues. He's been with the Reno Aces program since before it was created. So he was already living in Reno at the time. And so I had a connection to get access to the Reno Aces Stadium. And I thought, okay, what kind of event can I do there? Headfirst World Series? That would be sweet, but it might snow. Or weather's not great at that time of year, so it's risky. Although that was my first thought. Then I thought, a tournament? Just some kind of tournament? I thought, maybe. I thought, what about, I like the word jamboree because it's catchy, and there is no baseball jamboree as far as I know right now. So what about the West Coast Jamboree? It just sounds like it should be special. An elite showcase at the Reno Aces Stadium. This is a concept, by the way, it's a prototype. But as my brother will point out, a lot of things that we start doing begin with a prototype and a concept, and then they become reality. Like the Gamers program, like our facility, like the merger that we're going to do, and the showcase in general, and all the rest. So the Reno Aces Stadium is going to host the AAA All-Star game. It's sweet. It's a really cool place. It's a cool place to watch a game. Getting down on the field and being able to play there, second to none. So I thought, in showcases, and you guys know this because you're older, a lot of times it's not fun, it's stressful. So I thought, okay, what if I could rent out the stadium on Friday night, players get there on Friday, and this would be this is for a year from now, this is for next fall. And they check in, and then with music going, under the lights, they're just taking BP, shagging, taking BP, hanging out on the field, having fun, just like you would in any other place, except for trying to launch it into the stands. And recruiters understand, and I say, hey, this is not, now really it's part of the showcase, but this is not the showcase. You guys are just going out and having fun. It's like a shoot around in basketball, or there's no game or anything, just guys are dunking and shooting from half court, just messing around, and coaches get to be like, okay, they're just loose and doing their thing out there. I see things that I don't see in kind of the uptight showcase where things have to be done very rigidly, which is going to come on Saturday morning. But on Friday, it's meant to just be open field, BP, you're slamming it, you're diving in the outfield, having fun. And we have a defensive set, we have guest speakers, and then we have a home run derby afterward, where again, somebody's trying to launch it into the darkness, under the lights at Reno. Now, Friday night, go to bed, wake up the next day, and it's business. Saturday, there'll be 4 teams. Each will play 2 6-inning games. 18 hitters on each team. 6 hitters will bat per inning. Hitters are assured 2 at-bats per game. All 0-0 counts. Walks will turn into fastball-only counts. The exposure level, we would fly at least 15 schools in and treat them extremely well, pay them well, show them a good time, and in Reno, and they get to watch. What they get to watch is 48 different pitchers throw an inning each, and at least 72 different hitters get 4 at-bats each. So the concept is for us to scour Northern California and Nevada with the context that we have there and find arguably the 100 to 120 top players who profile for this event, the cost of which would be $400 for a position player, $200 for a pitcher only, $500 for both. So those who are cognitive about showcasing, it's actually less expensive than most of the showcases that are out there. And mathematically it works out that we can do this super fun event that is an exposure element, fun for the recruiters. What I want to know from you guys, because again, it's a concept, and I'm throwing it out to you guys because more and more stuff like this comes up for us every year. Those who've been in the system for a while have seen that. If you want that to happen, let me know. Not right now, honestly, but in general, say, hey, what about, like, here's what I want to know. If this happens and you're invited, are you in? Will you go to Reno on Friday, partake in the festivities Friday night, wake up the next day, get after it, and pay $400, $200 for pitcher only, $500 for both to do it? And again, if I knew from the front side that out of the 100 players we need, 30 players in our system that actually profile for it are in already, it's like, wow, 30% filled without moving an organization in a year ahead of time. So you guys understand where that goes. The reason, I just want to tell you what the system is, we try to create ways for you to be in the right place at the right time and be the right player. That brings us to what we came here for, which is team information, which you may have looked back there. There are 2 different teams that are here, Gamers 24 and Gamers 17. Both of them are 2014 grads. The staff for 24 is Coach Athen, who's running 8 different teams right now and is somewhere else probably trying to winning a tournament, or at least on his way there. And then Jesse Kingdon is going to be running Gamer 17. Now, that's not 100%, it's most likely, and we'd like to get input from parents and from coaches, from players. We think Jesse does a fantastic job. More than that, we think that the only thing he might lack is experience. And again, the way to get experience, like one of our coaches in the last one, Mike Bearcat, the way to get experience is to do it. And to be thrown out there and have a lot expected of you and have to live up to that. And we think that he's definitely the guy for the job. There's 40 to 50 games, regardless of which team. Home fields include Chabot, Castro Valley High School, Granada. Castro Valley High School, by the way, we're doing fundraising efforts to renovate so that we have 2 playing fields there. The right field at the JV field being a green monster and grassy field and all the rest, so that the JV field would actually be more attractive to play on than the varsity. Redone dugouts, redone backstops, stuff like that. So $1,500 to play on either team. Now the main difference is the league play, both teams would be in the Don Mattingly division of AABC. Within AABC, the 18U division is Connie Mack. In the past, the 17U division was Don Mattingly. They changed that this year where Don Mattingly is 18U as well. The difference is there are teams in the Don Mattingly, there's a lot of teams who want to get into Connie Mack, so they made Don Mattingly 18 so that those teams end up going, instead of going directly to Connie Mack, even though they're better than some of the teams in Connie Mack, it's kind of probationary, where they may be admitted over time into Connie Mack, and some other Connie Mack teams go into Don Mattingly. So also a difference is Don Mattingly may include, and again, this is, nobody knows, literally nobody knows about the stuff you're going to hear, just because it hasn't been presented, and kind of some people told me in confidence, and I'm part of the decision-making process on some of this, but I have permission to tell you guys. The Connie Mack can include players that are currently in college that are still ATU. The Don Mattingly may not, so it's for high schoolers only. Both teams that we have are going to be in the same league in Don Mattingly. The Gamers 24 also is going to be in the World Scout League. Now, the World Scout League is a new concept. Well, the goals of each Both of them, the goal is to make the Don Mattingly World Series. And I'm going to talk about how to get there in a moment. And it's possible that both teams make the Don Mattingly World Series. The other goal for Gamers 24 is the World Scout League Final. So the World Scout League, what's going to happen is there's going to be a World Scout League tournament here in Northern California. The 17U division is going to be in the peninsula, I think. And it's 4 games in a weekend with a lot of the top teams in the area there. It's not a tournament, it's league play. So you have that many good teams and good players in one place at one time, then it spells a recruiting opportunity, obviously. You also will go to Arizona in mid-July and compete in an 80-team tournament, plus there's one that's going to be in the West Coast, including Northern California, Southern California, and Arizona. In Arizona, there's one that's going to be in the East Coast, one in the Northwest, and one in the South. In our 80-team tournament, one team will win. And they're going to, the top 4 teams in the nation are going to meet up, expenses paid, in somewhere like LSU. It's projected to be LSU. And play a series to see who the national champion is. Incredible concept, really cool, especially since you have a bunch of teams and all these events trying to get there. So they raise money from doing that, and they're able to pay for some or all of the travel for the teams to go to LSU and fund that experience. That would be in mid-July, mid-August. So again, it's year 1 of doing it. We are all in, and I'm on the board in Northern California here, creating policy for that. So the next thing is the schedule. It's also back there. It's color-coded more for me than for you, but I want to just explain to you a little bit what the schedule looks like for both teams. First of all, you guys probably can't see it, but it helps me just to show you this way. May 25 and 26, nothing for these age groups. The 1st and 2nd of June, which the NCS final is the 1st, so maybe one team or 2 teams of players in here makes it. There's only 2 teams in the final. There's players, could be players from different divisions, so it could affect somebody on Saturday, they'd be able to play Sunday. The World Scout League event is then, on the 1st and 2nd. On the 8th and 9th, there might be an AABC qualifier. AABC is Connie Mack, the ATU, well now Don Mattingly is also an AT, we can narrow it down. There might be an AABC qualifier in Nevada that we would end up going to with Gamers 24, possibly. Otherwise, we're probably going to host the Berkovich Classic, the Berkovich Summer Classic. Then you guys would be in the 17 and up division. So there's a 16 and under and a 17 and up, which could possibly include one of our collegiate teams as well. So I want it to be high competition. Last year we did the Gamers, or the Berkovich Fall Classic, Berkovich Midsummer Classic. We wanted to get maybe 8 teams, and we had 16 top 10 teams, and it was a highly competitive event where on the opening night, in one particular game, there were at least 4 Division I coaches, including a head coach for a team in the pack, watching the game. So right away from Michael and I, we're like, wow, this is day 1. This is the first time that we've run a tournament of this scope. And we were doing it just because we could, and we had some contacts we wanted to play, and we wanted high quality tournament instead of going to one. And we had a highly recruited event with a lot of talent there. So the expansion of that is to create 2 different levels and expand it a little bit. Probably will be a big tournament. After that, on June 15 and 16, is Gamers 24 will either play in the Connie Mack qualifier or the Don Mattingly qualifier, and Gamers 17 will be in the Don Mattingly qualifier. This is here in Northern California. So for Gamers 24, I'm not sure yet which one. Might throw them in the Connie Mack qualifier to try to get to the Connie Mack regional, or they're going to be in the Don Mattingly regional. The Don Mattingly World Series, by the way, there is no regional for Don Mattingly. You would go straight to Arizona for the Don Mattingly World Series. Okay. So again, 15th and 16th is here in Northern California. 22 and 23. Formerly the Junior Olympics, which is the USA Championships, it was up to 16U, now it includes 17Us. So, and again, for you guys, I want to preface the schedule. I try to not travel when I do the schedule for all the different teams. I try to keep it as localized as possible, being cognizant of the fact that travel needs money, and any time that there's games in general that are purposeful. And this is what I want to share with you. Now, part of that is some of the stuff the schedule that I have here is all purposeful, and I couldn't cut any of it out. Maybe I can later, but right now it is, all the other stuff is cut out, and this is what's left of it, and it's very pure with opportunity written over each of the events. So in an effort not to travel, this is what we're left with, okay? And again, it doesn't mean we're going to do all of it. In fact, we can't do everything. But anyways, the Junior Olympics, highly recruited now. It's highly recruited. It includes 17 U's now. And we have a very good group. It's probably something we want to do. That's in Arizona. 29th and 30th, though, is LA for the Firecracker Classic, which is called the most recruited tournament in the nation on the calendar year. At the LA Firecracker, if 24 as a team or some players, we're not sure if we're going to do it as a team or have a tryout and then bring interested players to Arizona for the Junior Olympics. But the Firecracker is right after that. Also, it's in Southern California, in LA, spread out. Obviously a huge tournament. It's also a qualifying tournament if you win to go to the Don Mattingly or Mickey Mantle or Connie Mack events. But the LA Firecracker, Gamers 17 will be going to that. Gamers 24, not sure. I have it on there, but that would mean for 24, for a lot of guys being in Arizona for a week, and then in LA for a week, then we come home and play. This is probably going to be called the Berkovich Classic, which all of our teams will be in. There's several in the 16 and under, the rest in the 17 and up division. It'll be a big tournament. What we try to do in that event, we have multiple teams that are Headfirst. If we have 4 teams, for example, we try to have 4 different brackets. Like we have 4 brackets of 3, then the Headfirst team never plays another Headfirst team. So that's part of the strategy. We don't want our guys to play ourselves in the tournament unless it's in the championship game. Then that's a good thing. 13th and 14th for 24 is the Arizona World Scout League Championship in Arizona. So that's where going to JOs in Arizona to LA and then back to Arizona a week later just becomes too much. But I couldn't not write it on there for now because they're compelling things that that is a service to you. For me to write that, it would be a disservice to you if I didn't include it. At the same time, it's something that we've got to figure out because it is a lot. And like I said, money ends up being finite at some point. Gamers 17 during that same time is at the Gamers Classic, which is here. So we probably end up having the Headfirst Classic, the Berkovich Classic, and the Gamers Classic. And part of the reason is, as we do those events, we end up sending email blasts to all the schools and all the scouts on the West Coast, and we get responses. And even if they're not there, they get the feedback and they get information. I tell the coaches, name the top 2 players in this tournament for each team. So for schools, they just get a list. It takes a lot of time to compile, but they just get a list of 20 different players and 10 different teams, 2 each, and it's just information. And even a blurb if they want to write what they did, what their velocity was, or something. Again, it's a way to promote you guys and try to get you to where you need to be. That's a real quick presentation of a lot of information. Question and answer. What questions do you guys have? Yes.
So the Reno thing, you're hoping to do would replace the Dory Battle?
No, it would be in addition to it. So then, in a calendar year, we have exposure events. So events, in addition to doing the tournaments that we would host, which are exposure events, that's like the Gamers Fall Classic, the Berkovich Fall Classic, and so forth. Would also be the MLK event, the September event that we do around here, the West Coast Classic, and then the Reno one would be the Invitational, and then the Showdown is before that too. So it'd actually be 4 different events that we would be doing. Other questions?
What's the schedule for January?
January, so what we did starting last year was we have January baseball. The summer is January, June, and July. And part of the reason we did that was so the guys wouldn't take January off and not come into the MLK event ready to go. Also, so that they put their best foot forward when high school comes around. And a couple of years ago, we had a pitcher who was promising, really good, and didn't play in January. We didn't have the same program. We didn't play. It wasn't mandatory that they play in January. So he went into high school thinking he has some time to, he was good. He has some time to develop. Coach was going to go slow with him. Well, like 2 weeks into it, and it rained. Of course, it rained like the first week, so they couldn't really bullpen or do stuff. And then coach approached the first game like it was a national championship game. The guy went 6 innings, got hurt, and he's done. So for us, we're like, dang, even though the guy should have prepared for it, maybe he couldn't have prepared for it, but that's the worst thing for us is seeing a guy get hurt because we may not have done our job preparing them. So, so we play in January. Also, what other organizations are doing in June? Getting everyone there, doing uniforms, getting payment, figuring out who is who and who plays what position, and coaches seeing their guys and stuff. We do that in January. Actually, we do that now. For you guys to know, I think both teams have 20 commits right now. The Berkovich team also has 20 commits. Our sophomore team, which is absolutely loaded, there's 2 of them, has 20 commits. And the second, there's 2 teams per division, and there's basically an average of 20 and 10 That's not helpful. It's just not going to work. Maturity is tougher to come by in a lot of ways than physical development. And so some guys are right attitude and right approach. It's a talent. We look and say, man, who are we to say this guy is not going to be a college baseball player? We're going to play out. Who knows? So just to let you guys know, a lot of very talented players. The schedule is very compelling. Organizational side of it, by the way, we're on camera because some people can't be here today, all for very valid reasons. By the way, if you guys ever have to miss, it's absolutely fine. It's understood. We have rosters that accommodate that, but just be professional in how you're communicating it. So, for example, it is 3:02. We're overboard, and if someone from the Berkovich meeting texts me right now saying I can't make it, that's not professional. You just can't do it that way. You have to do it. You have to do things the right way. So missing, not the biggest thing. We want to make sure that by doing it on camera, that people who weren't here, and I want to tell you this so you can follow up with it, people who weren't here get the information still. Also, that you guys can watch. So this is going to be edited, put on YouTube, put on our websites, on the new websites. So you guys should watch